My son came running from the school and he was very excited. Kiran was there at home and he also was very excited seeing my son. He asked, "What happened? Why are you so happy?" My son told, Papa, I have been selected in the drama competition." Kiran was so happy and asked him, "Wow, what is the role you are going to play?" My son told, "Papa, it is the role of a husband." Kiran's face became small and he told, "Stupid, take a role which have dialogues in it." Bangalore! Woo! Bangalore! 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 Woo! Milt started as leadership training program, but now it's more of an NGO. We derive a lot of happiness through our social projects like Snehalayas. It is a proud moment for us to listen to the success stories of our Snehalaya children. Today, we are privileged to listen to the success story of one of our Snehalaya students through his knowing game. Friends, put your hands together to welcome our own Snehalaya boy, Meltonian Venkatesh Manoj. Woo!
Good afternoon. My name is Venkatesh and I'm here to share my life story. I was born in Bangalore. I don't remember much as I was too young. I was told my mother died when I was 2 months old and I lost my father at the age of 2 years. That's when I was put to Snehalaya. I even don't know who was that kind person who put me to Snehalaya. I'm glad. I was not a bright student considering education was the main focus. With difficulty, I just used to get passing marks. We were 3 students from Milt in a class of 60 students. The other 2 being Bala and Manju always stood on the top and I was always under a pressure. But this didn't bother me much, maybe because of the age. So up to 6th standard, I studied under Snehalaya going to B&M school, which is in Banshankari, Bangalore. I had become too naughty. Sometimes house mothers were called to deal with my issues, complaints coming from school. So after 6th, I was moved to Milt Residential School in Simuntala. My total thinking process had changed. I had become dull and my confidence level was nil. I was constantly demotivated by one of the teacher, which had taken a step backwards with overall performance and my academic life. I had to repeat 7 3 times. I think studies was not my cup of coffee. I remember one incident wherein I had been real sick with malaria, typhoid and migraine malaria. Lot of hospital rejected me thinking they are not sure if I would survive. Thanks to Operation Uncle, he spoke to one of the hospital, got me admitted. I was unconscious for over 8 days. We were on our puja holidays. All the boys had to sacrifice their holidays looking after me. So up to 10th standard, I studied in Mill School. For 11th and 12th, I was moved to Devsang National School. My scores had increased until I met my girlfriend, now my wife. I was rusticated from the school for the fact that I was in love with Pooja. Devgar is a small town. The news spreads like a fire in the dry forest. Devgar town, its people, the school could not digest this fact. For some small incident, I was just suspended from school for 10 days, and to make it worse, I was completely removed from Milt just when I was completing my 11th standard. I feel I was not even given a chance to justify my actions. I was supposed to be sent back to Bangalore, but I wasn't ready for it because I wanted to complete my 12th standard. So I ran away from school just when uncle boarded me on the train to Bangalore. I literally had to jump from the moving train to escape. Life took a disastrous turn in Devgar with no money, no food, no place to stay. Not sure what to do with borrowed 150 rupees in pocket. I was not allowed to enter Devsang National School. With lots of pleading from Devsang's management, I was just allowed to write my 12th exam. I had to do all kind of jobs to meet my needs. Oh man, it was tough. I remember one incident wherein I had not eaten anything for almost 2 days. I was staying with one of my friends who was from a very poor background. We were heading home one evening. We both were hungry, and he was buying a food from the street cart. The price for the rice, dal and sabji, one sabji was about 12 rupees. I was determined I will not eat that food because the food was very unhygienic. And throughout my life in Snail and Mill School, I had always been fed with tasty and healthy food. So no way I could imagine eating that food. So my friend packed food for himself and we headed home. I was so hungry, I could feel in my mind that my back and my stomach are touching each other. Still, my mind was not willing to touch that food. So I was lying on bed, he opened the food packet. As soon as he opened the food packet, the aroma of the food was so strong, I jumped and started eating that food like a beggar. Oh man, that was the tastiest food I've ever eaten. Even after 9 to 10 years, I still know the taste and fragrance of that food. Life moved on. Surprisingly, I scored 62% in 12th standard, which was the highest marks of my career. I'm grateful to God. Now, once I completed my 12th, I was not sure what to do next, where to go from here. I heard someone saying that my sister was troubling Miltonians as they don't know where I was. So I came to Bangalore. It was a very big challenge for Durai uncle to convince me and hand over me to my sister. I was very reluctant to meet them. I stayed with them for a couple of months. I could not adjust. I shifted to a paying guest. I had made up my mind that I will work for 1 year and then I will resume my studies. But with proper guidance from friends, I continued my studies. I borrowed a small loan and took admission in the evening college. For 3 months, I desperately hunted for a job. Finally, I got a job in call center. I was so happy to crack the job. My first salary being 6,240 rupees in the year 2009, a very proud moment for me. For next three years, my routine was same, 5 a.m. to 1 p.m. college. Then I used to rest for a couple of hours. Then college till 9 p.m. My performance at workplace was always good. Always stood on top of marketing and telesales. I bought my first bike. I was so excited, I visited Aprash uncle to take him on a bike ride. But he declined, saying that he is too old to sit on a bike. At the same time, he challenged and gave me 2 years to buy a car. I accepted the challenge. Now, once I completed my graduation, I got a job in Infosys. And before I joined Infosys, I was very sure as to what I need to do. I was very sure that working under somebody or some organization was not my cup of coffee. So while I was working with Infosys, I had taken up some software courses. I worked with Infosys for 3 years. I was getting promoted as a team leader. That's when I put down my paper in the hope of setting up my own company. My theoretical knowledge was strong with no practical knowledge. So while I was serving my notice period with Infosys, I also joined another company just to learn how company functions. So for 2 months, I used to work for 18 to 20 hours, meeting both the company's requirement. Lucky me, I was getting paid from both the companies, but however, it had started taking toll on my health and sleep. So I used to get pickup and drop facilities from both the companies. I used to sleep in the cab. I have no idea how I was able to manage for those 2 months. So after 2 months, I quit both the companies in the hope of starting my own company. I, along with my friend, started the business with most of the investment being from my side. He had experience of over 5 years. We ran the show for 2 years, and I bought my first car. And the first thing came to my mind was to take Aprash uncle on a drive. Oh man, I could easily make out he was much more excited than what I was. So after running the business for 2.5 years, we decided to break the partnership. The usual partnership story, he started involving his wife for a profit ratio, which could not go well with me. I disputed and decided to end the partnership. Even few Milt boys whom I had hired, even they lost their job. I learned a very big lesson to maintain proper paperwork and documents. I had lost everything for which I worked for over 2.5 years. I was back to where I started, a big zero. Can I have some water? Sorry. So for a couple of weeks, I was unable to think straight as what to do next. All I did for those 2 weeks was there was a temple next to my house and a playground next to it. I used to carry my diary and pen just to clear my thoughts and write down everything. With so many thoughts coming in, I just couldn't concentrate. Looking at the small kids play in the ground brought me back to peace. I was determined to start everything again. I borrowed some money from my friends against high interest and started. It took me a while to start. I was staying in 1 BHK in Banarghatta Road in Bangalore. I reoffered the job for those mill boys who were working with me, hired few engineers to look after my IT staff. Glad I could find few engineering students who were desperately looking for a job. I had to train them. things started falling in place. So for 4 to 5 months, we team of 6 guys worked in that 1 BHK. I had bigger plans and I no more wanted to walk. So I made a decision of shifting to a bigger house. So it was a duplex. On the ground floor, I had set up my office and I used to stay on the top. So for 15 months, I worked from that home. Projects started increasing, teams started to build up. I needed a bigger place. Then we shifted to a commercial office. Now we are a team of 40 guys. I have some major plans to increase the company and the team in the year 2019, which is definitely happening. And special thanks to Dura uncle, Kusma auntie, Sita auntie, Holla uncle, Prabhu uncle who inaugurated my new office. And our company is called Design Show Technologies Private Limited. It's been 3 years. We have registered branches in Australia and New Zealand. I being 100% shareholder for all the branches. We build all kind of IT stuffs like websites, e-commerce apps. We have set up BPO. We have tested over 1,000 clients. Now coming to my personal life, I met Pooja in 10th standard. I fell in love. She was the one who stood by my side on the worst phase of my life. 4 years back, we decided to marry. I was a bit skeptical to marry because our parents were not agreeing, but she was determined to get married. Finally, on May 4th, we married against the will of our parents. Special thanks to Holla uncle, Sita auntie, and Kusma auntie, Prabhu uncle who got us married. I'm blessed to have such parents. Pooja is pursuing her PhD, and she is a professor in Dayanand Sagar University. And soon after the marriage, our parents agreed. They visited my home office. They met Holla uncle, Sita auntie. They met Kusma auntie. They were quite impressed. Now they are happy. I visit their home once in a year. I'm very well treated and I feel very much at home. I love to play. I was best at most of the games in school. I run marathon regularly. My specialty is running full marathon 42 kilometer. And this year I have completed running 6 full marathon in 6 different states of the country. I intend to do this every year and eventually will travel the world to take parts in marathon. My best timing being 3 hours 58 minutes in Delhi. I'm at peace when I run. I also love mountaineering. Once in a year I travel to Himalayas for trekking. I've also started contributing to Milt in whatever way possible. I'm happy doing it. I'm also heading the IT department for this convention. At the same time, I'm also encouraging my other Milt friends to start contributing to the society. And I'm not saying that I've achieved great things in life, but I'm sure I'm on the right track. And I'm confident I will do whatever it takes to achieve my goals. And finally, I would also like to take this opportunity to thank each and every Miltonians who have contributed in my life. I just can't imagine my life without Milt. God is kind. And special thanks to Holla uncle, Sita auntie, Kusma auntie, Prabhu uncle, Dura uncle, Uday uncle and Samina auntie from Mumbai, and of course my legal father, G.R. Ashok from Kolkata. I see them as my parents. Any issues I have, I go to them to consult. To make them feel proud of what I am makes me feel nearer to my goal. And finally, thank you, Apresh uncle, for whatever you have done. Whatever I do in my life, wherever I go, it's all because of the ethics what you gave me. Love you, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice evening.
Wasn't it inspiring? Yes. Wasn't he so transparent? Yes. I wholeheartedly thank you, Venki, for being so transparent and inspiring. We require a huge round of applause for him again. Yes! Woo!
Do you have question and answer?
No. Yes? I request Pooja to come on the stage. Woo!
Good evening to all of you present here.
Little closer to
Good
mic.
evening to all of you present here.
Thank you, Pooja. Thank you, Venki, for inspiring us. A huge round of applause for both of them.